Part 2, Valley of Shadows. 4. Havenwood, 2 years later. As the sound of morning softly filters into my room, I rub the sleep from my eyes and sit up. Lifting my arms, I stretch, and then get up and walk over to the bedroom window. Opening the beveled glass pane, I gaze out at the sunrise. Every morning starts this way, and the view never changes. The interspersing colors of red, orange, and yellow beckon my gaze, seeping into my soul, engraving a plate of palette of beauty and wonder, which always begs for room in my mind's eye to savor throughout the day. In the 2 years I have lived at Havenwood, I have truly come to love it here. My room is simple but beautiful and cozy. The yellow sunset-tiled floor is covered with light green rugs, and the yellow and green floral window coverings match the soft covers and sheets on the white iron bed. A large gold-framed painting of a grove of flowering trees by a stream hangs over the head of the bed. On my first night in the room, I had checked the hooks, holding it in place for sturdiness, because the thought of it falling on my head in the middle of the night would have made it impossible for me to sleep. A white granite and wicker dresser holds my personal items, and my robes and gowns hang in a large matching cabinet. A crystal vase of flowers sits on the dresser, along with a silver brush, comb, and mirror. A small stack of books sits beneath the bedside table. Other than these basic things, I haven't accumulated much else, but I have all I need. I am content. After a few moments of watching the sunrise, I pull myself away from the window. Walking over to the dresser, I open the top drawer, smiling as I lift the crystal pendant from its cushioned spot, the light of it catching my eyes, producing a renewed wonder that I know will never fade. As is routine, I unscrew the crystal from its base and pull out the small, scrolled parchment. I sit on the bed and read the words that are now etched in my memory and heart. The words of hope and love are my guidelines and bring me a feeling of renewed peace and joy. Not once have I missed a morning or night of reviewing the message Alana gave me, for it has become a precious gift to me, one with value beyond price. Exercise kindness, for it is the gateway to unconditional love, and as you give it, you shall receive it. He who possesses humility is teachable. Be teachable. I love every principle of the scroll, but these are 2 of my favorites. Following several moments of meditation, I re-roll the scroll, slip it back into the crystal, and return the pendant to its special place in my drawer. I then make my bed and put the room in order and get ready for the day. Having dressed, I check my reflection in the full-length mirror that stands in the corner. Tossing my long dark braid over my shoulder, I tuck a couple of loose strands behind my ear. A few wisps of hair fall softly against my forehead, framing my face. I adjust the light brown cotton gown I wear for work and smooth the wrinkle on my shoulder. Feeling satisfied with my appearance, I slip my door key into the pocket of my gown and leave the room. The spacious dining hall is already half full when I emerge from the kitchen with another silver tray of sliced meats, cheeses, breads, vegetables, and a bowl of fruit. Long wooden tables line the walls, and round ones that seat 6 to 8 guests are scattered throughout the dining area, casting shadows on the light gray stone floor where the sunlight shines through the windows. The ivory-colored stone walls are lined with large paintings of some of the most prominent men to ever reside at Havenwood. Their solemn faces stare out of the canvases. A few of the men boast hawk-like eyes that seem to pierce right through anyone casually glancing at the paintings. 2 paintings in particular seem to command attention. One is of a man with long black hair and slanted eyes. A bulbous nose protrudes from his round face, and there is a large mole on his chin. The other is of a gaunt-faced man wearing round, wire-rimmed glasses glasses that are half covered by shaggy brown hair that falls against his forehead. He also has a long scar on the right side of his nose. For a while after I moved to Havenwood, I sometimes felt like the subjects of these two paintings in particular were watching me, and just entering the dining room used to make me shudder. But now I am used to the ominous faces peering from the walls, and it doesn't disturb me anymore. Instead, I am curious about them. Who were they? What had the men done important enough to warrant the large portraits of them hanging at Havenwood? When I asked my co-workers, I got various responses. Some thought the men were in important government positions. Others thought they were influential in the building of Havenwood, maybe even the builders themselves. No one knows for sure, and I find that rather odd. As I serve the customers, I am greeted with various smiles. I politely smile in return and chat for a moment with a couple of the guests. "And how is the fair Siren this morning?" an older silver-haired gentleman asks, as he normally does each morning. "I am well. And you?" "Now that I have been blessed with the sight of your lovely face this morning, I am well too." A blush heats my cheeks, and I thank him for the compliment before returning to the kitchen. My job is a rather simple one. Take the prepared trays out to the guests and bring the empty ones back to the kitchen. For the other young women that I work with, it is a monotonous task, but not for me. I enjoy meeting new customers as well as getting reacquainted with the old ones. This is the extent of my social life. Occasionally I walk across the road to a small shop to purchase ink, paper, and a few personal items. The owner is always kind and very friendly. Her husband, though somewhat aloof at times, is congenial enough, but I haven't really gotten to know either of them well enough to consider them friends. During my off hours, I usually stay close to home, and I haven't really acquired any friends or acquaintances other than the people who work and live at Havenwood. For the most part, my life so far has been one of solitude, but I have a feeling that things are about to change. I am drying the last of the serving trays and placing them in a dark cupboard when my friend Inya enters the kitchen. Juggling 5 small pitchers, silver pitchers that had contained grape juice, I quickly take 2 of them from her overloaded arms. "Thank you," Inya says, her cheeks flushed. For a moment I wondered if I would make it in here without covering myself in purple. "It seems you have expanded your talents," I say with a chuckle. "I've had a lot of practice." Her blonde locks tumble over her shoulder, having escaped the loose bun at the back of her neck. We take the pitchers to the back of the kitchen and clean them. Once they are dried and polished, I help Inya to put them away. As Inya leans down to put the pitchers in the lower cupboard, some of her hair falls to one side, exposing a patch of dark, scaly skin on the back of her neck. It almost looks like a snakeskin pattern or some other form of reptile. I am finding this is common among many of the people I meet daily, and figure it must be some sort of ailment or skin condition. For some, it seems the condition is worse than others. Not wanting to offend anyone, I have never inquired about it. It doesn't seem to bother those who have it, so I try not to give it much thought. But whatever it is must not be contagious, because I have been at Havenwood for 2 years and haven't caught anything yet. "Do you have plans for this evening?" Inya asked, standing up and stretching her arms. "Not really. Orion agreed to lend me another book. I thought I might do a little reading." Inya sighs. "You're always either reading or keeping company with Orion, Siren. You never get out and have any fun." I smile. "Reading is fun. I enjoy expanding my mind and making new discoveries. And I enjoy my visits with Orion. He is very entertaining." "Well, since you like expanding your mind and being entertained, I have just the thing for you. Kundar is hosting a party tonight. Come with me." "Thank you, but I think I'm going to stay in tonight." "Oh, come on, Siren," she whines. "You stay in every night. This will be fun, and besides, Kundar has someone he'd like you to meet." I shake my head, sighing, a slight smile tugging at the corners of my mouth. Do you two ever tire of trying to be matchmakers? Of course not, Enya replies with a sly smile. We want everyone to be as happy as we are. There is someone for everyone, you know. Please say you will come. Maybe, I finally say, relenting a little. I will think about it. Oh, don't do that or you won't come. Enya points a finger at me. I know you, my friend. You will talk yourself out of coming if you think long enough. I release a low snort. Enya knows me well. Maybe I should go. I have been at Havenwood for 2 years and have yet to step out of my comfort zone. It is time for me to get out a little and expand my horizons. I really don't have a life outside of my work in Havenwood. Truthfully, the only friends I have are Enya, Kundar, Orion, and a couple of the girls in the kitchen who work the morning shift. I have never ventured anywhere else because I feel so settled at Havenwood. I feel safe. How will I ever grow if I never leave the safety of my surroundings and seek the experiences that will bring that progression about? After all, isn't that why I'm here? Deep down, I know why I've never ventured anywhere. Because of the returning name plaque at the place of learning. I don't want my name to be left off that plaque, as so many others are. True, I still have no memories of the home I will be returning to, but I want to complete the journey just the same. I want to go back. Still, I cannot stay as I am, naive to the things of the world. I can't waste away my years this way. I am suddenly a little frustrated with myself for waiting so long. I've been here for 2 long years. Waiting for what? For a sign to suddenly drop from the sky letting me know it is time to do something with my life? Am I supposed to suddenly know when to take a chance and truly begin to live? There are no guarantees, no certainties, and there is no crystal ball to tell me what will happen in my life. I have choices. They have always been here before me, waiting to be made. After mulling over these thoughts another moment, I say, all right, I will come. Wonderful, Enya cries. You're going to have a good time, I promise. I'm holding you to that, I tell her, grinning at her excitement. But do not be disappointed if nothing comes of the introduction of your friend. I will not, as long as you promise to stay open to the possibility. After all, he might be just the prince you are waiting for, or the frog I want to avoid. Enya laughs heartily. That may be true, but I very much doubt that. I think you will be quite pleased. Now I am intrigued, I say, genuinely looking forward to the evening. Later, during a leisurely moment, I slowly stroll through one of the dimly lit corridors of Havenwood and study some of the paintings hanging on the walls. There are various pieces of artwork placed on wooden pedestals here and there, wooden and stone figurines of large birds and forest critters whose faces don't look quite normal to me. With their enlarged eyes and exposed teeth, they look a little frightening. After a few moments of studying the various pieces of art, I find myself standing in front of a life-size statue of a robed man holding a bowl of grapes in one hand, his other hand outstretched with a small bunch of fruit in an attitude of an offering. The statue is made of white marble, etched in meticulous detail. The face is handsome and kind, yet almost deceptive, as if he knows some great secret. The lifelike eyes give me a sense of eeriness, as they almost seem to follow my every move, as if he is saying to me, yes, I can see you. Do not let this body of stone fool you. Shivering, I rub the goosebumps on my arms. This is a hallway of Havenwood I have never ventured into before. I have never desired to until today. Maybe the conversation with Enya this morning has opened a vein of adventure in me. I can't help wondering who the model was and why this particular piece of art is placed with all the other hideous pieces lining the walls. A sudden coldness sweeps through the corridor, taking me by surprise. Casting one more glance at the statue, I turn and head back to my room. Hearing a knock on the door, I open it and am greeted by Orion's cheerful smile. "Another book for the fair Siren," he says, holding a thick novel out to me. "Why, thank you, kind sir. I shall read it and return it in a couple of days. Take your time. I am in no hurry to get it back." "You're always so good to me," I tell him, reaching down and affectionately touching his shoulder. "Always," he agrees softly. His eyes roam over the dark teal and gold robe I am wearing, and his brow furrows slightly. "Going out this evening?" "Yes," I answer, giving him a wide smile. "Inya is taking me to a party at Kundar's estate." "I see," he says, sighing deeply. "This will be your first time venturing out over to Darkston, will it not?" His voice is soft. "It will be my first time venturing anywhere," I answer, wondering at the seriousness of Orion's expression. "Is something wrong?" I ask, again touching his shoulder. Orion looks up into my eyes, his golden gaze soft but intent. "I know you have been here for some time now, but you are still at the beginning of your journey, and I am concerned for you." "I will be fine, Orion. Besides, I have to start expanding my horizons sometime. Kundar's party is as good a start as any." "You speak the truth. However, I must caution you. You will meet many people tonight, people who are not what they seem. Just remember who you are, fair Siren, and why you are here. Do not forget even for a moment." He takes my hand, squeezing it, his fiery red hair shimmering in the light of the chandelier in the hallway. "Do not forget even for a moment." I nod, unable to understand why Orion is so serious. Is it wrong for me to venture out now? In 2 years I have hardly left the grounds. Now I yearn to do so. I need to do this. After all, it's just a party, and I trust Inya and Kundar to look after me. I will be fine. "I will not forget," I finally say. "Everything will be fine." I move to close the door. "One more thing," Orion says quickly. "There's a very popular drink many people indulge in. It's called Splendor Fire." "Really? I have never heard of it." "No, you would not have. The drink is not served here at Havenwood. Once upon a time it was, but there is a reason it is no longer here. You see, the drink is not good. It changes people and causes them to do things they would not otherwise do. It produces a weakness in them, and on the indulgence of Splendor Fire rest all other weaknesses that are sure to follow. Please remember this, if or when it is ever offered to you." "It sounds terrible," I say. "Why would people choose to indulge in something that would weaken them?" Even as I say this, my thoughts wander to the return plaque in the place of learning. Is that why so many people do not return to Krisandor? "In a way," Orion answers, seeming pleased that I remembered the plaque. "However, people can change should they choose to." Risk not returning to Krisandor? This is definitely not something I want to happen to me. I look into Orion's eyes, my resolve firm. "Thank you for the warning. I will heed your counsel." Orion. Orion watches from his bedroom window as Siren and Inya disappear inside Kundar's personal carriage. Siren's black hair shimmers in the moonlight, and he is once again struck by her beauty. He keeps his gaze fixed on the carriage until it is but a dot in the distance. How this young woman has ingrained herself in his heart so, he doesn't know. Perhaps it is because, in the time since she arrived, he has learned who she is, what her purpose is, and why the outcome of her journey is so important. Siren's father had been a true friend to Orion before Orion left Krisandor over 200 years ago, one of the truest friends he has ever known. For Orion, it is as if he is letting his own daughter step into an abyss of darkness with only a dim light to guide her way. He is powerless to stop what will be, and powerless to tell her what is to come. Even if he could, he knew he wouldn't. He could never take the coming experiences away from her, for to do so would deprive her of the growth and the knowledge she would surely gain from them. He looks up toward the heavens, gazing at the dark sky, taking in the celestial scene before him. The stars are beginning to align, and the land grows restless. Orion listens to the groaning of the land shifting around him. He has noticed during his daily travels that trees are slowly beginning to die here and there. Smooth places on the ground are becoming rough. The forests are not as plentiful as they once were, and some of them are even devoid of wildlife now. The days are growing shorter. The warm springtime temperatures that have always been so perfect are now going through the most erratic changes he has ever seen. On one day, the heat is almost unbearable. The next, it is absolutely freezing. The land is still beautiful, but the elements completely unpredictable. All are signs of the spreading evil. His thoughts return to Siren, and he is freshly overwhelmed by her beautiful and unspoiled innocence. Heaving a deep, sorrow-filled sigh, he closes his eyes and presses his forehead against the cool glass, his hands forming fists as a pained whisper escapes his lips. It has begun, Kilian. Her test has finally begun.